Today's show is about welfare food diet. What is welfare food diet? Well, you're going to find out next as my guest coming up is going to be talking to you about the welfare food diet. Can you afford to eat healthy food on the welfare food diet? Coming up next. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast. My name is Brent Frain. I'm the host, and I'm actually broadcasting from Victoria, British Columbia. And joining me is Neil Matheson from Newton,
Rootin' tootin' Newton.
yeah, Newton, Putin, Tootin. Yeah, before I get started, it was great to visit with you recently, Neil. Sonia and I made a journey over to up to Surrey there, and it was nice little getaway for a little bit, and then
Yeah,
back to Victoria again. A lot
yeah.
of heavy volume on BC ferries now.
And you got your cup. You got your cup.
I do. Fun, and this is the brand new cup that
Limited edition.
yeah, limited edition
Only
cup.
two in circulation right now.
Right now, there's only two, but there might be an opportunity of more cups in the very near future.
Yeah,
So stay tuned about that one.
there you
I'm just
go.
gotta move the cup around so you can see what the logos look like here. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool. There's the writing on the one side and just the logo
Yeah,
on the other side. It's pretty cool.
and they say what is inside.
Yeah,
Wow, this
and
is
again, thank you to Trisha for those mugs. They're great.
yeah. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Trisha. That was really thoughtful of putting those mugs together for us. And like I say, some neat little mugs, and definitely, it keeps the beverage nice and hot. Actually,
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
really good. Yeah. With today's show, my guest on. Sonia's joining me today.
Who
Sonia,
is Sonia? Who
how
is
you doing?
Sonia?
Yeah, how you doing there, Sonia?
What
Yeah.
is she doing on the show? You know what? Before we start, though, I did say that I wanted to do like a 2 minute thing, just to give an update on about my CDB quest,
Yes.
my Canada Disability quest. Um, as it turns out, like I tell you all the time that I talk to my friend Kent all the time, you
Mm.
know, and he was on the show like I think it was last year, talking about racism, racism versus disability discrimination.
Hmm.
So anyway, we talk all the time about PWD policy and that, and he was saying he was convinced that because I file my taxes separately.
Hmm.
I ever since I got remarried to my wife Gardenia, we filed our taxes separately, and he was convinced because we filed separately that the federal government would honor that and it would only kind of target my own income, which I have done. I
Hmm.
mean, other than other like I have no other working income other than what I get from the province for disability, right? I
Hmm.
haven't worked I think it was towards the end of 2019 was the last time I collected any kind of paycheck. So it's been a while, right?
Oh yeah.
And so anyway, ever since I've been married, which is about 6 years, I filed separately from my wife. Um, and so I thought, yeah, that's going to be good. Well, it turns out I don't get the CDB because as you always say, the one stipulation they have is it's tied to family income, right? It's
Yeah.
it's it's an asset tested family income thing. And for some reason I was thinking, well, maybe because we file separately, they won't flag it. And even Kent was convinced, you know, because you file separately, they won't flag it. It'll be fine. Well, it's not fine. They flagged it, and it pisses me off because we talk all the time about autonomy. You
Hmm.
know, the fact that like my disability and your disability and Sonia's disability and whoever else's disability, the disability is not a shared family thing.
Exactly.
It the disability is tied only to me.
Yeah.
My disability is tied only to me. And
Hmm.
so when you have a program like the CDB or any kind of asset tested thing, like respect me and my disability, because my disability is tied to me. Your disability is tied to you, Brent.
Hmm.
And same thing with Sonia. Her disability is tied to her.
Hmm.
And so as soon as you start like mixing and matching and saying, well, now that you're a couple, all of a sudden the lines are blurred and the disability becomes a household thing. Well, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
sorry, my
yeah,
disability is not a household thing. It's still
exactly.
tied to me. And the fact that now they say that the CDB is sorry, it's tied to a family.
Yeah,
Like my disability is not tied to the family, it's tied to me.
yeah,
So give the money to me because I'm the one with the disability,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Not the
Anyway,
whole family. Yeah, I mean, and
yeah,
that's where the federal government completely screwed up,
they
and our,
messed it up royally on that,
oh, they did, and
really
they were
royally.
told it from the beginning, Neil, that not to do it that way. It was supposed to be based on the individual, not family, but
Yeah,
no, not household.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I know. Like for example, Mike Morris was all over that, and
was.
yeah, and
Yeah, and
uh,
the thing is, Mike Morris, he was,
oh, and Benita Zarrillo, I think too.
yeah, there
She
was
was
a
all
lot.
over that too.
There was a lot of
Um,
them that were told that, yeah,
yeah,
don't worry, yeah, it's going to be based on individual. It's not going to be tied to household income, and they were assured. And I heard that too. I thought, I hope so. I mean, and they were assured at committee stage, no problem. And what did the federal government do? Complete opposite. I mean, when you
yeah,
can screw something up, they can screw something up. And
oh yeah,
really, that kind of blends into today's show, where
yeah,
less income, and it means less buying power. It means your base people on disability. It makes you feel like you're on a welfare income.
yeah. But
Uh,
again, before we get to that, Brent,
yeah,
I have there's kind of like this is kind of like the a bonus Easter egg show because I
yeah.
did want to do one more thing, spend 2 more minutes
Okay.
talking about the last 3 or 4 days in my
Oh,
condo. It's been an absolute nightmare.
oh,
Like I've shared this year since like every year when for a condo you have things called stratas, and
yeah.
so you have strata councils, and every year around like say March or April is when they have the AGMs, the annual general meetings, and when they elect new council for the strata council. And this year, I've been on strata council for the last like 5 or 6 years running, but this is the first year that I was elected as the president. So I am now the president of the council, and so it's a big I take it seriously, right?
Hmm.
So like I am the main ears and eyes of the building. A lot of the responsibility falls on me. So anything that happens in the building, like the shit comes to me first. Like
Yeah.
everything that's happening in the building, the shit comes to me first, right?
The shit hit
And
the
and
fan.
I'm telling you, there's so much shit that's been happening in the building. We've had there's been 2 nights in a row, and again, this is only over the
Nice.
last 3 or 4 days, Brent. Over the last 3 or 4 days, we've had a woman that's been manic out of her mind, like on drugs. We have an outside staircase, a stairwell that goes down to like so you can access it from outside. It goes down to the parkade, and it's got a little inner stairwell there where people can take shelter there if they want. Well, there was a woman down there for the last couple of days that was just screaming out of her mind, like swearing at people and all that kind of stuff. So we had to call the police for that. And then we've had homeless people just yesterday just yesterday we had like a group of like 3 or 4 homeless people that were smashing. We got a new intercom outside, like intercom system outside of our building,
Yeah.
brand new, and there was 3 or 4 of them outside. They're smashing, literally smashing at the intercom.
Oh my
And this is
God.
like a brand new intercom. They're smashing away at it.
Oh.
And that's not all, Brent. Then we had
Mm.
then we had 2 days in a row, maybe 3 days in a row. We had guys that were trying to break into. We have a separate area of our garage that was open before,
Mm.
that was being accessed. Homeless people were breaking in this a couple of years ago.
Oh,
Homeless
right.
people were breaking into the part of the garage that was kind of open, and
Yep.
they were setting fires down there, and they were doing drugs down there, and they were defecating down there, and there was a whole bunch of garbage down there, and we had to throw out, like, it was literally $1,000, probably over $1,000 worth of garbage. And
Oh
guess
my
who pays
gosh.
for that, Brent? Guess who pays for that $1,000 worth of
Uh,
garbage? The
yeah. Yeah.
owners do. And so anyway, so we bought again. It's an expense on the owner. We bought a really expensive one of those pull shutter
Uh,
um,
they're like big gates,
gates.
right?
A
Yeah.
big gate for, like, they have at the malls.
Yeah.
Like a
Oh,
big a
yeah.
big
Oh,
shutter a big shutter gate. You pull down, secure an area so they couldn't get access to it. Well, for the last 3 days, we've had people trying to break into that area because they think,
oh
well, there must be something really good behind there, right?
my gosh.
And then just last night, and again, this is the only I'm only talking three
Oh,
days in
oh
the space
no.
3 days. Just last night, we had on camera, we had I think it was a 60,000 or $70,000 SUV pull up on camera outside of our gate, and they pulled out, and I think three women got out and with all the tools, and then again they
Oh,
were trying to break into our underground again. So, like,
God.
all of this happened, all of
Wow.
this has been happening in the last 3 or 4 days, Brent. And this
Oh,
is like one building. Can you imagine
holy.
one building? And how many buildings are there in the whole province? Like 20,000 buildings.
Yeah, these.
So multiply 3 or 4 days. My last 3 or 4 days as Strata president. Multiply that by 20,000, Brent.
Wow.
That's what's happening around our province now. And
That
and and
beyond.
like we said on our little mini podcast the other day at McDonald's, it
Yeah.
all falls on David Eby.
Mm,
It all falls on David Eby. He is the premier
yep.
now. He's got to step up and wear the big boy pants and stop all this, BS that's going on.
Hmm.
Because it's all falling on owners of, I own this place. And
Exactly.
and like I said, as Strata president, I'm responsible for 1,000 or 100 souls in the building here. I'm responsible for 100, keeping 100 people safe in the building.
Hmm.
When we had the break-ins a couple of years ago, like I said, we had homeless people that were setting fires
Mm.
down in the garage, and I mean they got out of control. We had to call the fire department 3 times for
Wow.
for fires that were starting to get out of control in the garage, just because they were high
Hmm.
and doing drugs down there. They were
Well, yeah.
letting fires get out of control.
Well,
And
yeah.
again, I got 100 souls in the building,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean,
Um,
vehicles could explode too. I mean, just
exactly,
imagine that.
exactly. And so, you have, and we talked about at McDonald's, we talked about the bathrooms being
Oh, yeah.
not in a good shape, and like, so you got all, and you think about, I think it was a couple of years ago. This was a story for a couple of years ago, but it still applies. There was a really upscale, like, wedding shop with like fancy dresses and tuxedos and all the rest of it, like right downtown, right, near the downtown east side.
Hmm.
But, like, who's going to want to shop there? Who's going to want to shop there?
I know I
because
would.
now they're going to go get mugged down there. They're going to get
Exactly.
assaulted, right? So you got all these shop owners that are getting victimized, either punched in the face, assaulted, or stuff getting stolen,
Mhm.
and they're spending money on video cameras. They're spending money on security. They're spending all kinds of money. And again, where is that money coming from? It's coming from the owners themselves, or it gets
Yeah.
passed on to the customer. And like I said, the customer doesn't want to come down to the stores anymore because they don't want to get beaten up on the
Oh,
on the way to try on dresses. Who wants to get beaten up? Who wants to get beaten up on the way to try on a wedding dress? Who wants that, Brent? You
yeah.
know? So
That's what's happening in Victoria too. The downtown, there's some property owners, and they're now packing up. They've had enough. There was one that was on the news just the other day. and it's saying that just off people are familiar, it's off of Johnson Street and Douglas area, and like homeless people that are just curled up. I mean, and that's like in basically right in front of stores. I mean, some of them are violent. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
And they're violent because of the drugs, right?
yes, yeah, exactly,
And
and
that's so again where I 100% blame EB
mhm,
because he's the one with Trudeau, with Justin Trudeau, he's the one that doubled down. He's the one that doubled down and said, let's legalize drug possession. It'll be great. It'll be great idea. Great idea. And what's happened? The drug use has exploded. Has exploded, Brent. Has
mhm,
exploded. It
yeah.
has exploded.
You know,
You
I'm
know?
going down there. If I have errands to do, I go downtown. I mean, we just come and go, from point A to point B. But I mean, there's areas at nighttime I would not even go by. But
Yeah.
but I must say, before we get the show started, I must say though, is that a lot of these situations are happening in broad daylight. Innocent
Yeah.
people are in the wrong place at the wrong time, and
Yeah.
my safety and Sonia's safety comes number one. But here's the thing: the mayor says, Mayor of Victoria says, we have a plan, but we haven't introduced it yet. It's going to take time. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
Well, time is people's businesses and lives don't get put on hold. I mean, I'm sorry, I understand the frustration coming from the mayor's point of view. I get it. I really do. But your frustration, if nothing is happening, your plan, then you need to step it up to the provincial government and tell provincial government now step it up. Let's
Yeah.
get the plan invoked. Like let's get it
Yeah.
going here. And if they still can't do it, Mister Prime Minister, hey, come on, like work with the provinces. Like we have
And
a
it's only been
young
in it's
crisis going.
honestly only been in the last couple of years that where it's gotten really bad.
Oh, it has gone
And
really
so
bad.
it's no coincidence that as soon as David Eby took over, and
Hmm.
like I said, he went all buddy buddy with Justin Trudeau and said,
What
legalizing drugs is a great idea, harm
yeah,
reduction is a great idea, free drugs is a
what
great
could go
idea.
wrong, right?
Like they doubled down on all of that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And is it any surprise that all of this crap is happening now? Is it any surprise? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be,
and
right?
then I
But
wonder
anyway, I
when,
mean,
yeah, when do we wonder why that the government says, oh, well, we can't raise the rates,
yeah,
PWD rates. Well,
yeah,
gee, there might be an underlying reason why they don't want to do that. I have a feeling there's another underlying reason why they don't want to do that. Why? Because now there's people that are on the street. Oh, they got more money. They got more money. They got to buy more, and there's that myth. One
yeah.
neighbor said, oh, that
Well,
they
think
get
of
more.
all the extra money that they're just wasting on all this free drug stuff. Plus, think of all the money where they're. I mean, I've shared before too. I mean, and I know you watch the news too. I mean, I remember watching the news one night, and they literally showed about one guy, one overdose got a situation of one overdose where one guy was overdosing. He overdosed, I think it was 5 or 6 times in one night, and so he
Hmm.
had to he had to have the ambulance being called, the paramedics being
Oh yeah.
called 5 times for one guy, five
Hmm.
times for one guy. So again, multiply that by how many thousands, Brent, or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
I hear the
One
ambulance
guy
going
getting
by here all the
getting a
time.
call 5 times to get resuscitated.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like for sure his life is important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people that are on drugs don't deserve a good life. I'm putting the blame on the drug. I'm not putting the blame. It might sound like I'm putting the blame on the person. I'm not. I'm putting the blame on the drug because we
Hmm.
know we know that the drug is changing the person, right? And so why in God's name would David Eby and Justin Trudeau think legalizing drugs, which we know affects people's brains and makes them like bananas,
Hmm.
like let's legalize drugs, let's do safe supply. Let's do harm reduction. Like they bought into that so hook,
Yes.
line,
Yep.
and sinker, and that's the only way they thought that's the only way we're gonna solve anything is that. I'm sorry, that's not the way to solve it. Like, think
Yeah.
outside the box. Like do something different because doing the same thing for the last however many years, it's not working.
I was on a bus.
And all David Eby's done is he's doubled down on a bad idea. He just doubled down on a hugely bad idea, and for some reason he thought it was going to work.
Yeah, it definitely backfired on him. I was on a bus
Yeah.
downtown Victoria, just about a week and a half ago, and of course recently witnessed another situation again, which I'll mention in just a second, and then we'll get the show going. But um, there was tourists that were on the bus trying to figure out where to get off the bus, and they were looking at maps, and some of them were looking on their phones and maps on the phones, and some of them had the old school maps, Oh,
Mm.
okay, and you could hear them. Well, where did we get off? And I was talking to Sonia because we had to go to a mall, and we were on the bus, and the bus driver slammed the brakes on, like whoa, like what the heck? We look out front, and this guy, he's walking backwards, Neil. He's walking
Mm.
backwards in the middle of to the middle of the road. The bus driver honks the horn, and he stood there. He didn't even look at the bus driver. He started to continue working backwards, and then he turned around and walked backwards the other way. I thought, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like
Yeah.
he literally almost got hit, and we almost witnessed that by
Yeah.
the bus. That would have been very traumatizing, not just for us, but for the bus driver too. Tourists were just like, wow, like what is going on here?
Yeah.
And just where I live, there was another. I wonder why a bus driver had screeched the brakes. I thought it was a deer walking across the road. Nope, it was actually a person that was on heavy duty drugs.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
it-
again, I have to make clear, I don't blame the person because
yeah,
we all know that people get addicted to drugs based, a lot of them get addicted to drugs because of a really bad injury at work sometimes, right?
mhm,
They might have injured their back at
mhm,
work and they get prescribed like a heavy duty drug and then from there it just escalates. So those types of things happen, right? Or just bad circumstance, trying to escape a bad situation, so you use drugs to further escape a bad situation. So whatever, I'm not
yeah,
trying to we talk about stigma,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I mean there's a good stigma and bad stigma, and in a way you do want to stigmatize drugs because taking drugs is a bad idea, but I do want to separate the idea that
oh,
I'm not trying to victimize the person and say the person is a bad idea. I'm saying that the drugs are a bad idea. And
mhm,
I hate that our governments are doubling down on a bad idea, which is exactly what David Eby did, double down on a bad idea in concert in unison with Trudeau said, let's legalize drugs. Great idea. Let's do harm reduction. Let's do free drugs. That's terrible, terrible, terrible idea. And they both double down on it, thinking it's going to be great. And look what's happened, right? Look what's happened. It's been a train wreck. And so you have somebody like me that's responsible for a hundred. I keep saying want to say 1,000 people, but it's 100 people on,
it feels
in
like
my
1,000
building.
people. Yeah,
It feels like 1,000 people sometimes, but I'm responsible for 100 people in my building, safety, and like I said, just over the last 3 days, there had all this shit happen at my condo. You
mhm,
know, in large part because people are baked out of their minds because of drugs. People
mhm,
are baked out of their minds because of drugs. And again, I don't blame the person. I blame our government for allowing these drugs to happen.
mhm.
The bad policies are allowing these drugs to happen, are allowing this bad crap to happen, and it's you and me, Brent, that are having to pay the price on it. It's you and me, and it's business owners that are having to pay the price on it with like increased security, increased cameras, and it all doesn't matter because you have
And cost, and it's the cost too.
yeah,
Oh,
and you have customers
cost.
now. Eventually you're going to have customers that don't even want to walk into McDonald's. Like we
Yeah.
went to McDonald's the other day. They're not even going to want to go to McDonald's because they're
Oh, I
going,
know
I don't want to even go to McDonald's anymore because I don't feel safe.
exactly.
You're going
And
to have that situation pretty soon.
well, yeah, that's downtown Victoria. There's a couple locations. One, I mean, very extremely very busy location, and that's right downtown on Douglas Street in downtown. Very busy, but they have high security presence around there. Police everywhere. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a lot of uh, bad bad actors, should we say, that are in the area. I mean, I've seen some drug dealing going on close by, And I think you've seen, I mean, that happens in a lot of cities. But uh, I feel somewhat safe going in there. Nobody's actually attacked anybody violently, thank God. But Pandora McDonald's.
Mm.
Now there's a problem because I mean, they have tight security. However, you get the odd person there. I've heard recently they've come in there and, caused some real violent disturbances. And it's really unfortunate, right? It's not the person, it's the drugs
It's the
that
drugs
have
that are
been
doing it. Yeah.
allowed to
Yeah.
blossom. And that kind of blends into exactly today's show where,
Yeah.
you know,
Let's
there-
change gears now. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. But it kind of blends
Half an hour later. Yeah.
into the welfare food diet, right? Because
Yeah.
it's all policies. So the
Yeah.
policies, if you don't give, the government doesn't provide and deliberately not providing enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deliberately. Yeah.
and I'll really emphasize the word deliberately because it is a policy. I know government hates that when advocacy organizations and self advocates and other people with lived experience they come out and they say no, like the system is messed up. Like what or the common thing one of my neighbors says like, what did I do wrong? Like what did I do wrong to deserve not having a rate increase? I go, you didn't do nothing wrong. You are just you. It's the system that the government is protecting and has designed to be that way. Well, then why do they call it poverty reduction? Why does not every other province in Canada do that? I go, well, it was just BC that decided to call it poverty reduction. I said, but it's actually
Yeah.
poverty escalation with not raise,
Poverty renewal. Poverty
yeah, poverty
renewal.
renewal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, my guest is Sonia.
Sorry, Sonia.
Sonia, sorry.
We hijacked the show. I
Finally,
didn't mean
he
to.
says
I didn't mean to.
finally. Yeah.
I didn't mean to.
It was the beginning. It was the show about lots
Yeah. Well,
of things.
I get so pissed off, Brent. I get so
No,
heated, and I had to get that off my chest because I knew if I didn't, it would just bug me for the rest of the show. So I just want, and I thought it was only going to take me 2 minutes, but obviously not. But anyway,
but see, today's a
yeah.
very unique show. And this is kind of like the back door of the show, where the front door of the show would be starting right now. So this was the
Yeah.
back
Well,
door.
there you go. Let's
We had
relaunch the show again, Brent.
yeah. So everyone, you get two shows,
Two shows in one.
two shows for the price of one.
You get one where Neil's like really pissed off.
You get the bonus
You get
round.
the first half of the show where Neil's really pissed off at Evie, and you get the second half of the show where Sonia's talking about food.
Pissed off at Evie and the minister who handles the social development and poverty reduction in BC. So Sonia, as usual, welcome to the show. Sonia comes on from time to time to talk about different things that affect her life. Last time I think she was on, you were talking about diabetes.
Yeah, with what's his name again? It was on too.
We had Patrick on last time. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. That was a good episode, actually.
Yeah, it was a really good episode, and so today Sonia's going to be talking about the welfare food diet. But how does it affect anybody on disability? I mean, does it really affect everybody? Well, Sonia, you're going to dive into that. What's your view on that? Do you think that the way the rates are right now, what is the buying power? How does it feel to you?
Well, to me, it feels like it's back in the 1980s again.
1980s.
80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
The buying power of what you used to be able to buy with the value of a dollar, with inflation, and it just keeps going up every year. I mean, I know government denies that. Oh, no, things will come back down in price. Don't worry. That is a myth because I can look back when I was a kid, what I could buy. Three things for $1.05, and that was including a ball deposit. And I didn't buy a lot of pop. I mean, I could buy a bottle of pop, a small bottle of pop, not a big one. 350 milliliter bottle. Yeah. So I mean, they came in bottles too. But a small bag of chips. I mean, the 35 gram. I think there was 35 gram size. They're the small ones. You can get them in from Walmart. You can get from Costco. You get a whole box. You can get those little snack bag size ones, and those are perfect size.
Mhm.
So I get one of those size. But it'd be Old Dutch potato chips, right? And I remember the guy coming into the store loading up the shelf with it. 35 cents, everyone. and a bottle pop for 35. So chocolate bar, 25 cents, a bottle
Yeah.
pop for 35
I used
cents.
to love chocolate bars, 25 cents. I
Yeah.
get 4 of them for $1.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
no tax. There was
No tax. Yeah.
no tax, everyone.
Well, talking about potato chips,
Yeah.
I'll direct the question to Sonia.
Yeah.
Where did I get the idea? If you look at the thumbnail, everybody look at the thumbnail now. I have on the thumbnail for today's show, I have a plate of chips. And where did I get the idea for the plate of potato chips, Sonia? Where did I get the idea from?
Got it from Brent.
You
Yeah,
got
we'll go into the story behind that.
the story behind why there was a plate of potato chips.
Because that was all we had for dinner that night. Because there was
Yeah.
find much of anything that healthy to make at the time. So we just had chips,
Yeah.
and it's not very good for me because I'm take insulin and then you gain weight from the excess insulin on top of what.
Yeah, and you've shared with me, you've done that more than once, where you've had basically one good meal in a whole day, one good meal, and then for dinners you've had things like potato chips for dinner,
Mhm.
and that's your dinner, and that's and
Yeah.
that's just to save money because there's not enough money to go around.
Yeah, or sometimes we'll just go and have one meal and just binge eat whatever for the rest of the day of whatever we can find.
Binge eating, and that's not good
That's not
either,
good either.
because it doesn't regulate her blood sugar numbers, and when they get out of whack, then if numbers either go too high, well then she has to give more insulin. If they go too low, she now has to eat things that are probably not in her best interest to eat, that are not healthy. I mean, you can buy healthy things. I see it on the news hour all the time. I mean, that's great, and avocados and like all these great things, but they cost a lot of money. You can buy things that are not as expensive too. There's different seeds that you can buy. There's like a whole bunch of different minerals that you can buy that are not super expensive, but it does add up, especially when, well, Sonia, we'll get into talk about the rates of in just a moment, but in 5 week months, those 5 week months
Those are the worst.
those are the brutal, like, and that's again why where you have to cut back your food, you have to ration. And when you have to ration food, you have to basically stretch things out. So when people say, well, Brent, what do you mean about ration? I mean, I think a lot of people do know what the word ration means, but there are people, unfortunately, who do not know the word ration.
Well, ration is we're talking wartime terms, right?
Yeah. And there was an individual at the bus stop, and they were trying to figure out if they had enough change to get onto the bus. And I said, oh, you're rationing your change. Looking at me, what's that? And bus driver knew. Bus driver had just put the ramp down because there was another individual came along on a neat little scooter. He was just reminding me of you. He put it on this way, right around the corner. I thought he's going to wipe out. No, he just navigated around. The bus driver heard me say that. He says, ration. Yes, get the most value for your dollar. You really got to stretch it.
Yeah.
He says, I like that word. And I said, I'm glad you like it because I don't like that word. I don't like the word ration.
Well, I just wanted the chat, actually, I have to say, the chat is blowing up. A lot of people are talking about Pierre Polyev in the chat, but we have Canada the Great that actually made a really good comment. I just want to read it.
Sure.
Canada the Great says, it's all a lost cause. Policy is so far from reality in all Canadian jurisdictions. The pink unicorns, so talking about pink unicorns that we always talk about, the pink unicorns that our government keeps must be very cuddly. Our government is failing to govern. Great comment. Great comment from Canada the Great, that the pink unicorns our government keeps them must be very cuddly.
Yeah, I don't find pink unicorns very cuddly at all. I find that they like to bite and
very hostile, right?
They're very hostile.
Very hostile for people with disabilities, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, for me, when I go to the store, I just get so depressed. I end up buying all the wrong things. It's just
her anxiety goes up really high. She cringes every time we said we need to go to the store, and She doesn't says, well, one day she says, I don't want to go to the store. I don't want to spend money.
Well, but that because you stress eat, right? Like actually I have a friend that talks to me about that all the time about stress eating. You know,
Yeah.
you get overcome with stress, and then you want to just stress eat and eat all the wrong foods, right? Because you're
Yeah.
so stressed,
Hmm.
Yeah,
right?
and then
So yeah,
when you get to the checkout, you're like, oh, it's $100 and some. I'm like,
yeah,
then I
yeah.
don't have anything for like personal stuff like shampoo, conditioner,
Personal hygiene
deodorant,
stuff. Yeah.
toothpaste,
Personal hygiene, yeah,
all that stuff has gone up in price too. I'm telling you,
yeah,
it's awful.
It's
yeah.
really exasperated in prices.
And the BC government doesn't seem to care about it.
No.
Yeah.
You can't get those items at the food bank.
Yeah, the BC government says, well, go to the food bank and stand in a long lineup. It may not be accessible, and they don't even have half the items that the person needs based on their own personal needs, right? Food banks are great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think
Some food
it's
banks are great, Brent. Some food
some
banks are
food
great.
banks are good, but it's
Yeah.
only good is that for families,
Remember the one in
with
Miami
children.
that we went to before?
Uh,
That was a good food bank.
Yeah, I mean, that you're good with
Yeah, get rid
for
of food
families, like
bank.
there's a family-oriented food bank, right?
Mhm.
And so they're good for some things. Do I think that they need to be existing? No, they don't. The food banks
No.
do not need to exist at all. That shows me that it's an economic failure on all levels of government. And I'm not picking on any on particular government on this part here, but it shows you how society is broken. If people have to depend on a food bank, and in order to basically get your maybe get your basic needs. Because I was taught this from my mom growing up. And I said, well, why are there food banks? Because like, she would get a hamper. Like she would apply for a Christmas hamper, and for low income. Like my mom worked three jobs,
Mhm.
and they weren't full-time jobs, but three jobs in order to, well, one was actually almost a full-time job, but to put food and pay bills, pay her rent. And growing up, because my mom was a single mom, my dad got kicked out when I was a kid. He was a raging drunk alcoholic, and my mom didn't want us to be brought up around him. And I still have flashbacks every so often. It doesn't affect me a lot, but I think about it, about appreciation of what I have in life now, and I always treasure memories of what my mom went through, bringing me up, going through real bad times economically, like financially. She taught me to stretch that dollar as far as you can, stretch it. And you're going to find times in life, Brent, where there's going to be good times financially, like things might be going good. You're ahead of the game, and then there's other times where you're going to find it really tough. And when it's really tough, you have to stretch that dollar and say ration. Like she used that word
Mhm.
ration, and just try to buy only live, like not really the word live within your means. She really did not like that word live within your
That's
means.
what the
That's
government
the
says it all the
government thing.
time.
But I told my mom that word, and she says,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, the government's on glue."
Yeah.
And I said, "What?" She said, "They're on glue. Live within your means." She says, "I live within
Yeah.
my means all my life, Brent." And she said,
Mhm.
"Since I was a little girl." And she said, "The government wants to learn a lesson about live within your means." She says, "I lived through the Deep Depression." Oh my gosh, yeah. So I know
Well,
there's
the
a
thing
little learning
about
lesson.
the thing about having a disability, and I've shared this before, and I know you have shared it before, Brent. Uh, but anybody that has a disability knows this to be true, knows this to be a fact, is
Mhm.
that when you have a disability, you respect your body so much, or at least I would say the vast majority do. I mean,
Mhm.
there might be a few that have a disability that maybe don't care. Like I can think of actually one strange example where I remember before Steve Fonyo died. Remember Steve
No,
Fonyo,
yep,
the man that took over from Terry Fox's dream, and
yeah,
he did the across Canada
I remember. Yeah.
on one leg. And I actually met him
Oh,
just out of the blue before he died, a few years before he died, I think, at Surrey SkyTrain
oh wow.
in the elevator, and of all things, he was smoking a cigarette.
Oh.
And I thought, like, how ironic is that? How ironic is that?
Hmm.
Where you have a guy that had cancer,
Hmm.
and he ran across the whole country to fight against cancer,
Yeah.
Here he is, like all these years later, smoking a cigarette, and now, like God rest his soul, he's gone now. But and I kind of felt sorry for him because some people aren't set up for fame, like they can't handle the fame,
Yeah.
honestly, I think he was one of those people that just wanted to do a good thing to honor Terry's memory, to honor
Yeah.
Terry Fox's memory. He just wanted to do a good thing, but he wasn't prepared for the fame that came with that. And
Hmm.
I think I think he really had a hard time with the fame. So anyway, I just found it really ironic. Here's a guy that was battling cancer and did a whole run across the whole country for cancer, and I saw him smoking a cigarette. So I mean, those kind of one-offs do happen, but for the most part, I would say for the most part, if you have a disability, you respect your disability
Hmm.
and you respect your health. You want to stay healthy as much as possible. Like I invest in I put real money down on my health
Hmm.
every month. Every month I'm putting money down on my health. I buy I buy vitamins. I do chiropractic. I do massage. I try to eat healthy foods. I do everything I can to keep myself healthy,
Hmm.
right? Because being healthy is important. When you have a disability, you're already behind the eight ball. Let's say,
Oh
let's
yeah.
be real. You're already behind the eight ball. So
Yeah.
it's really important to be healthy. And yet, what do the government policies do? They almost dare you to be healthy. Like, try to be healthy on this. Try to be healthy on this. You can't do it.
Oh,
You
you can't.
can't do it.
Yeah.
It feels like gaslighting. It feels like gaslighting, Brent. Like, try to be
But,
healthy on this amount. Like, good
yeah.
luck.
Yeah. I
Good
mean,
luck.
I'll put the question to Sonia is, um, with the race. I mean, I mean the buying power, like the struggles. What do you? I mean, I know. I mean, because I know what you buy. But I mean, what do you have to sacrifice? Like, I mean, like the struggles.
Huh. I have to sacrifice different things for other things.
Hmm.
Like for instance, like shampoo. I've just sacrificed out of my food budget to get that. These just different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Hard.
and then if of course if the fridge with our fridge
Our
malfunctions,
fridge doesn't cooperate a
our
lot.
fridge doesn't cooperate, and but the
Freezes things and
management
stuff.
company says it runs. You plug it in, it runs, right? And
Yeah.
they had a contractor come and check it out, and well, it's still working. Yeah, just
Yeah.
don't change the dials, but it still freezes things. So
Yeah.
if something accidentally falls to the back of the fridge, well, if you want it nice and frozen, yeah, perfect. You got an extra freezer right there,
Hmm.
right in your fridge. So if we have any produce there that's not in the back, it potentially can still get very cold and it can still freeze. Where there was something that you opened just the other day.
Cheese whiz.
Yeah,
Whiz frozen.
Yeah.
It's right on the top.
You
It
get
was
a
like,
cheese
oh,
whiz popsicle.
yeah.
yeah. They literally, when I say frozen, like it was
Yeah.
half frozen.
Wow.
I had to chisel away and fixed it. There was some yogurt that she
I
had.
remember that video you did on Miracle Whip, Brent. Remember
Yeah,
that?
And that was
yeah,
You posted that video on Miracle Whip, but it
yeah.
was frozen.
Well, that's how the
Remember
cheese
that?
whiz was. It was
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
no.
I think there was some sour. Oh yeah, we had some sour cream.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
having
Yeah.
some, tacos one night, and it got the sour cream out, and guess what? It was all frozen.
Hmm.
I thought, wow. So again, we had just bought the sour cream, and
Hmm.
as everybody knows, the cost of everything's going up.
Yeah.
And this was right before dinner time. Well, I had to go over to another store, so I had to go to another store. We had just bought it. Um, we didn't have the receipt. Of course, I guess I should have kept the receipt, but usually
Hmm.
it's stuff like that. I don't normally keep the receipt. I mean, it's because we're going to use
Yeah.
it right away. So we just got
Yeah.
rid of it. I just took out the garbage because the garbage was
Yeah.
full.
I've done that before too, Brent. Like, what's really bad is like I really like with turkey. Like if I buy turkey meat, I love buying cranberry sauce.
Hmm.
So I'll buy a jar. I'll buy the jar. I won't buy how you can buy a can, but I don't like
Yeah.
buying the cans because it's
Mm.
you almost have to eat the whole can right away. It's
Yeah.
better to buy it in the jar. So I buy a jar of it,
Put the lid back on.
and you can put the lid back on exactly. But the thing about that is if you don't check the dates, the dates on those can be already expired, like long expired, like months expired. I've
Oh yeah.
seen jars of those of that cranberry sauce expired like months months out of date.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I usually do check it, but there's been a couple times where I haven't checked it, and then I'll look and it's like it's been like already months expired. And I'm like shit, and then I'll already have thrown same thing. I'll already have thrown out the receipt. It's long gone, and it's like
Mhm.
I've already opened it, and it's like crap. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And a lot of those items, like you say, end up in the food bank.
Yeah.
Expired items. And
Hmm.
we've had that happen in the past where we went to the food bank and there was expired items. It was rotten. Like there was a head of lettuce. We cut into it. It was all rotten.
Well, even at the store, you get rotten
Oh
stuff.
yeah, the stores you get stuff that's rotten, and now you've made your way all the way to the store. It's all rotten. I mean, it's right before dinner or whatever. I mean, are you going to go all the way back to that store and take it all the way back?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now it costs you more money. You have to buy that item
Yeah. You
twice now.
have to buy it again. Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
thing that I'm sacrificing
Oh yeah,
is coffee,
Yeah.
yeah.
because the coffee price is like $22 now.
$22.99.
Yeah. It's crazy,
So
right? Yeah.
now I'm just having maybe 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day instead of my regular 4.
Yeah. So I
Well,
stretch.
and as a parent too, like uh, I always am, if I'm going to sacrifice something, I always sacrifice for myself so
Mhm.
that I can get something for Jake, because Jake's got, he's in his last year now, he's in grade 12, and he's got like a lot of school needs,
Yeah, yeah.
like he's growing like a weed,
Oh, I know.
like
He's tall.
he's like a basketball player times a half now. He's just so tall
I know when
and
you
filling
saw him, I was
out.
like, wow, he's like
Yeah, he's
tall.
just filling out so much, and so he needs all this new clothes, and he's got all these uh, school fees. I've been paying all these kind of beginning of the year school fees for him, because last year, like one of the fees was commencement fee for the graduation that come. So they're already paying. You already have to pay for that well in advance, and that was $60. Like right there, I had to drop $60 for that. I had to drop $25 for just general school supplies. So already you're up to $85. Just like poof, gone. But I'm sacrificing for him all the time. Like if he needs something, I'm making sure that he has something, and I'll deny myself to make sure that Jake has something that he needs, right?
That's what my mom used to do when I was young. She would sacrifice a lot of things so that myself and my brother would have what we need, like clothing. I mean,
Hmm.
school supplies. I mean, try to have nutritional food is the best way we could. I mean, she would send me to school with celery sticks and like some yeah well, not the frozen jar, of yeah, what we just mentioned there, Cheese Whiz. But she'd
Yeah.
have like a little container, and she put some Cheese Whiz in there. I
I
mean,
I love celery. I
yeah,
love celery and cheese whiz.
yeah, but yeah, I
Remember
mean,
that as a kid?
yeah, me too.
Oh,
Oh, me too.
that was the best.
Yeah,
That
and it
was
was
the
like so
best.
like the watery. You could just they would just ooze out with all the juice of it, and it's like little cheese sticks and like and carrots. Like so, she would and an apple or an orange, right?
Mhm.
Just I mean, healthy things, right?
Yeah.
And now you look at some of the parents that try to basically get enough healthy items out there. They don't. They give them like cookies and all
Mhm.
stuff because they can't afford it. Like people
Yeah.
can't trying to stretch things as far as they can. I know that a lot of people want to buy healthy things. I know,
Yeah.
but some people just can't do it. I mean, and
Mhm.
and I guess that was my next question that I wanted to kind of stem to you, Sonia, is when we talk about disability rates versus welfare rates. So today's show, everyone, we're talking about the welfare food diet, right?
Mhm.
So we talk about the disability rates. Now, the buying power, I mean, it feels like welfare, does it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what welfare gets.
See, at one time,
What do they get?
welfare, I think was $500 at one time. I think it's
Mhm.
like I know in Ontario it's $733. They haven't had a rate increase in 8 years. I know Joseph, I know talks about that a lot.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
mean,
But
Doug
what is
Ford,
it
really?
in?
Like that's disgusting. Like how can you
Yeah.
keep welfare rates? You can't
Mhm.
even rent anywhere. I mean,
But what are the rates?
$733 for welfare in Ontario. In BC, I believe it's 900. I
Yeah.
think it's 900 something now. I mean,
Yeah.
really, David? Really?
Mhm.
Like you can't even rent anywhere.
Even on
that.
disability, you can't rent
So
anywhere.
if you take away the shelter portion off of the disability,
Mhm.
so
If
14,
something happened to our place that we have right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
there's nowhere, we could not stay in Victoria at all.
we
Yeah.
we
We
couldn't.
have to leave.
And our next show on Monday, we should say we'll do an advertisement for Monday's show
Mhm.
is
And don't forget
MJ.
to-
We have Mary Jean coming on the show,
Yes.
and it's going to be all about her petition to raise the shelter rate here
Yeah,
in
that's
BC.
kind of what Sonia, what were you saying about the petition?
Don't forget to sign it.
Don't forget to sign the petition. There's a
Yeah,
petition
we'll,
going
we'll talk about it all on Monday.
Yeah, we'll
for
talk
sure.
on that one, and
Yeah.
Mary will go through it. But
Mhm.
with the full PWD check in BC, it's 1483.50. Okay, I don't know why they have the 50 cents, but it's always been there. Actually, it used to be 42 cents, and then one time it was 1 month it went up to 50 cents. When did that happen? But I
Yeah.
saw it. I noticed that, and I think it was an MLA I brought that to at the time. It was Shane Simpson was the Minister of Social Development and Poverty Reduction at the time.
Mhm.
And I said, sir, we have him on the podcast a few times already, but I said to him, I noticed that it went up by 8 cents. It went up by 8 cents. How did that happen? I don't know. He goes, that's odd. Must have been a administration error somewhere in the line. Okay, so was it always supposed to be 50 cents? Well, things changed. I said, or was that inflation? When I
Or
say
maybe they
inflation,
just round it up because it's easier math for them that way.
oh, it's probably easier, and they probably left it that way. But
Yeah.
over how many years was
Yeah.
it supposed to be that way? Is what I
Mhm.
wonder. Is like our rates, were they really supposed to be basically suppressed down so far? I mean, how much was the province really getting from transfer payments from Ottawa to
Yeah.
basically increase the rates? I mean, were they supposed to be doubled and they just suppressed it down to the way it is now?
You really do wonder how
I
much of
that-
those transfer payments are actually just going to administration, right?
that's what I'm wondering. Is that
Like we know, I mean, there's so much on the news now about all this bureaucracy of the top heavy government where
yeah.
all the money is going to the top heavy government paying the administration of
Yeah.
the government, and none of the money is getting actually filtered down to people that need it, like the actual services.
Yeah, and all they've
Yeah.
done, all the government has done, everyone, is that they've kept status quo. So they haven't increased the funding, all the ministries in BC. They've increased, they've put money into the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, but they haven't increased the rates. They put
Mhm.
more money in it because the caseload,
Yeah.
the caseload, when I say caseload, it means the amount of recipients getting onto PWD status or getting
Yeah.
onto welfare rates. The need becomes greater as we
Yeah,
age.
so all that money is just
Is
to pay for the salaries of the caseworkers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And as people's needs become greater over time, that need
Yeah.
becomes the greater of the
Mhm.
income to increase because inflation goes up, the cost of living goes up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the CPI, and that's what the CPI is. It basically dictates what the inflation rate is.
Well, our other MJ that we love on the
Yes.
show, our other MJ that we love on the show.
We got two of them.
We got
MJs.
two MJs, two for the
Two
price of
MJs.
one. And we love him too. And he always talks about, get rid of all that. Like, why
Yeah.
can't you just get rid of all the caseworkers, get rid of them all,
Yeah, cut all the
and
red
just
tape, cut all the fat.
and just respect the fact that people with disabilities have disabilities for
Yeah.
for
They
a
go
reason.
away. They
We
don't
have
disappear.
disabilities. We're not faking it.
Yeah.
We're not faking it. They're permanent disabilities.
It's not like a pink unicorn where
It's
they're
not
not,
like a pink unicorn where we're faking it. And just respect the fact that we have them, and just pay out the checks, and get rid of all the middleman crap where you have to, like, do you really need the money? Do you really need the money? And all this, like, gaslighting, as we said, like, who needs to go to one of the to see a case manager just to get gaslighted? Like, do you
Yeah.
really need the money, Brent? Do you really
Yeah.
need the money, Sonia?
It's
You know?
like it's like saying, well, we're going to give you a $50 crisis supplement, but a crisis supplement, everyone.
Yeah.
But for food. So if you need it, you need to go down to our office, stand in a long
Step over a bunch of people that are on drugs now, by the way.
yeah, because there are people downtown Victoria. Like I won't even go down to their office. I refuse to go down to their office. You know why? Because people were shooting up their drugs last time we went down there. I mean, and no fault of the person. They don't know what they're
no
doing,
fault of the person.
right? And
Yeah.
there was one person urinating. Yes, I know people probably don't want me to hear that, but the person was urinating on the side. I saw the person over the side, right in the public area.
And like I said, like in my condo, we had to clean up literally $1,000 worth of trash, and it was human shit
Mhm.
and needles, and it was all at owner's expense, you
Yeah.
know.
But this was
And the government just kind of says, oh well, oh well, oh well.
And this
You
was
know?
at the government office, everyone. Like it was
Yeah.
right outside, and they have a lot of stairs there, and they have an accessibility ramp that goes up to their ministry's office. There was people stretched out, lying down on there, so anyone in a wheelchair or a motorized scooter couldn't even access that ramp anyway. Yeah, so I don't know how people were supposed to be able to access into the ministry's office. And you got security standing at the door. They're looking, but their hands are tied. What can they do, because the system is allowing this revolving door to keep escalating. So when I mentioned about the crisis supplement, yeah, $50, you can go and stand in a long lineup, smell urine.
You have to beg for it. You have to beg for it.
And you have to say, why do you need it? Why are you not
Yeah.
budgeting better? Live within your means.
And then they gaslight you.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
beg for it, and they gaslight you.
Yeah. And then people say, well, what do I do otherwise? Well, they have to go and crowdfund. They have to go and do a mutual aid. They have to go and ask people for help. Government says, oh, well, maybe ask family. Well, what if you don't have family? And really, is it up to family to help? No, it's actually up to the government. It's their responsibility to take care of seniors, people low income, people with disabilities, veterans. I mean, is that how we take care of our veterans too? I mean, they're living on the street because they can't afford shelter.
And you know what, Brent? This has kind of come full circle now. We're at the end of the show now.
Yeah.
We're going to get final comments. But I wanted to make the point that this kind of come full circle, because remember at the beginning of the show, I was talking about my disability is tied to me. It's not tied to the family.
Yeah.
Remember the whole thing about the CDB, the Canada Disability Benefit. My comment off the top. The whole thing about the Canada Disability Benefit being tied to family income. Well, my disability is not tied to the family; it's tied to me. So, so you need to respect me, the individual, like the autonomy of the individual. Respect the autonomy of the individual, and make all government policies tied to the individual, tied to the autonomy. Respect the autonomy of the person.
It should always be that.
When you start having policy that respects the autonomy and the individual person, then you'll actually have government policy that works. Until you have policy that respects the individual person and the autonomy of the person, until you have that, you have policy that does not work.
Bravo
Policy that's
on
broken.
that.
Policy that's broken.
Yeah, bravo on that, Neil. I hear that a lot. People want to make the decisions based on what their needs are, what they want in life, what the things they want to see change for themselves, and they echo it for other people too. But everybody is their own individual self. I mean, the government would love one size fits all. Well, easy peasy for the government, because they don't actually have to now listen to lived experience. All I hear, and Sonia, I'll ask you, what do you hear around? I mean, you hear is, well, it doesn't affect me, or like, what are you hearing in general from government when they make these announcements at rallies and stuff?
And nothing comes out of it.
Nothing comes out of it. All we hear is
Talk, nothing.
More to do. More
to do.
Yeah.
Or well, the people, they're not listening, and they're not listening in there.
Yeah.
Well, when I hear different speeches of there's other MLAs or MPs or whoever.
We ran into Ravi Parmar at the we ran into Ravi Parmar at the what's it called, the
Labor Day picnic.
picnic thing.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, there's a lot more work for us to do."
More work
Again,
to
he
do.
said that.
Right.
He said that, right?
He
Well,
said,
I'll be talking more about Ravi Palmer, I'm sure, when Rob Shaw comes
yeah,
on.
he said there's more
And
work to do.
yeah.
And I told Ravi is that we had a meeting. We had a meeting with some conservative members in the
Mhm.
BC from the BC legislature on the opposition side, and one of them said, well, it was a meeting that Jeff and Sonia and myself we had. It was a private meeting. I'm not going to get into all the details and tell everybody what all we have
Mhm.
talked about. We were just talked about rates. Okay. Just as an overview about lived experience rates, why rates need to be increased. One of the comments was, well, government has no money. Well, and because the Conservative Party is not allowed to spend money because the government doesn't have money.
This is why I love Rob Shaw, because
Yeah, yeah,
his last article,
yeah, yeah,
he threw out the grenade that says
yeah,
apparently the government has no money. Again,
yeah,
he used that line
yeah,
in his latest article. He says, "Well, apparently the government has no money." So,
yeah.
like thumbs
Yeah.
up to Rob Shaw.
And you know what my rebuttal on when the person said that, we were kind of like throwing little darts back and forth because my rebuttal on that one was, okay, the government has no money. Oh, okay, so I guess that's why they gave all their MLAs $60,000 rate increase.
Yeah, right.
I said I got it, yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
$18,000 per every staffer, right? But they couldn't get PWD rate increase.
yeah.
Well, we recognize that there's inequalities, but your rates did go up, didn't they? And then Jeff said, well, our rates are way below the poverty level, like 50%, almost 50%. Well, it's actually now it's 50% below the poverty level of what
Hmm.
meaning the buying power of what you should be able to get for your goods and services. Then he goes, and that's not even including the rent. Rent portion
Hmm.
needs to be even higher.
Yeah.
And then so Sonia, they asked you, Sonia, well, what impacts because the rates are not increased? Like, what are you having to go through? And so you said about your diabetes.
Yeah, I just basically said about choosing different things that I need to get for that out of my budget, and it's hard.
Yeah, and a lot of it's not
And
covered under
It's not covered under
Pharmacare.
farm care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of her supplies that she needs is not covered under it. It comes out of her budget, and
So much isn't covered, right?
yeah, there's tapes and things that she has to
Hmm.
buy too, and like it's different things to keep her devices on that
Hmm.
she has, and they're not cheap either, right? So it has
Hmm.
to come out of somewhere. But here's the shocking part, everyone.
Can you eat tape,
Yeah, tape,
Sonia? Can you eat the tape?
No,
yeah,
Does it have any food
I wouldn't
nutrition?
advise it.
I wouldn't advise it. No, is it biodegradable? Or is it for
Maybe if you eat
digestion?
tape, that's something, that's part of your welfare food diet right
Well,
there.
especially
Eating tape.
an adhesive tape, like
Yeah.
and it goes around and then you peel it off and it keeps
Hmm.
it stuck on. But that stuff's not cheap, and she goes through that all the time because she has
Hmm.
to have it on for for your devices.
Yeah, Dexcom G7 is
Yeah.
pretty
Flimsy.
flimsy.
It comes with its own special, I guess, tape, but yeah, she has
That's
to buy.
okay.
But it doesn't always stay on, so she has to get this other enforcement one that keeps it on. Otherwise,
Hmm.
if it falls off, she gets a different reading, and it really affects her numbers really bad
But the Omnipod one is good. I have
Yeah.
no problem with that one.
when it doesn't malfunction. But getting to the meeting though, because it's part of the kind of our discussion today on the welfare food diet, is because the buying power makes it feel like the rates are at welfare,
Hmm.
and the MLA didn't know.
Yeah. Well,
I
people
find
just
that very,
assume.
very hard to believe
Yeah.
that an opposition member does not know what the rates should be at, and
Yeah.
was shocked that our rates were 50% below poverty level.
Yeah.
And so Jeff explained, yeah, so we're 50% below the poverty level. That's not even without a disability.
Yeah.
So we need to get it up to that level. So you need to get it up to the poverty level. You're not even at poverty. Oh wow, it's just wow. Um,
Yeah.
how did this happen? I go, well, it's inaction, government status quo,
30
right?
years worth.
Yeah,
30 years
status
worth.
quo, copy
Yeah.
paste. I said, go
Yeah.
forward, pass the buck. There's more to do, and then the government says, well, And she says, well, that's interesting that you all, have a good perspective of this. And here's the shocking part.
Mhm.
None of you look like you have disabilities.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Jeff's, he was like, his muscles were twitching. I looked over just to like, because I'm wondering his expression, and I could see the muscles just twitching in his neck. And in me, I felt like I was going to be sort of foaming at the mouth. I thought Jeff was going to be foaming. I looked at Sonia, and Sonia had like just a very, very pissed off look on her face. And on me, I was like, wow, we don't look like we have disabilities. I see. Well, my disabilities don't go away. I don't know. Did they that's the magic? I said, I know that's right. I threw in the comment about a pink unicorn. Well, I guess they're like pink unicorn. Yes, now you see them, now you don't, right? And then
Our
Jeff,
podcast is going to be famous for pink unicorns now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeff goes, well, just so that you know, FYI, he says, I have multiple disabilities that are invisible. I said, yeah. I said, I do too. I said, mine. One of them does show prevalent. If I get a lot of eye strain or I'm focusing too much on reading certain things, my eye condition will escalate where I can't concentrate on what I'm doing. And that affects my a lot of things in my day-to-day life for concentrating what I'm supposed to be doing, like for any kind of, like when I used to do certain job aspects, I'd be having to read something, and if I'm reading too much, I couldn't even focus on what I'm freaking reading. So now I'm getting lost on the page until my stigmatism, which is just not a regular stigmatism. Mine's a congenital stigmatism from birth, and it's a condition that different people with my eye condition have different stages of it. I'm very, very fortunate that mine, for now, is stabilized. Of course, as you get older, things change, right? But my condition, there is no cure for it. I guess it's like diabetes and cancer and a lot of different multiple sclerosis, you name it, Parkinson's disease. Mine's there. Sonia, like heart condition also.
Well,
Like there's different things that
I just want to say too, like
yeah.
even if your condition is visible,
Mhm.
like think about Rick Hansen or
Mhm.
think about Michelle Stilwell. Like they're both in a wheelchair and
Yeah.
they're both like you could say top level athletes. So like kind of the A plus plus
Yeah.
of how of what like the peak of what a disabled person can reach, right? Like
Mhm.
Olympic athletes, kind of,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, but even for myself, like my disability has always been very noticeable. Like I've always had crutches, and now I'm in a wheelchair, and
Mhm.
so like my disability and like with bent legs, like my disability is really noticeable. Like with CP, you can't hide that, right?
No.
But even besides that, like even though my disability was very noticeable my whole life, even besides all that, like I just push through anyway. And
Yeah.
same thing with you. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people, like when you're in your 20s and early 30s, you just push through. Like or even
Yeah.
up to like mid 40s, you push through. Like
Oh yeah.
big deal. You learn to deal with your disability. Big deal.
Yeah. You
So
just
what?
do.
I have a disability.
No.
So what? But like
Yes.
you get to a certain age, you get to a certain point, and it's like then your disability starts to really push back, and it's like holy shit! Now I really have a disability now.
Well,
You
yeah. You
know,
start realizing.
you can't ignore it anymore.
I remember many years ago. I would. I just do like two full-time jobs just because,
Yeah.
right? And I
I think I had like three jobs at one point.
yeah.
I
I did too.
didn't bother me.
I had two
Didn't.
full-time jobs, and then
Yeah.
I had a part-time job. And then there was another company that wanted to hire me too. So I would have had four jobs. And then,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, actually there was five. There was another one. And it got like, my mom's like, okay, whoa, there's too much on the go here. Are you going to be able to do all these? I said, well, I'm already having trouble with my one job. And that's why I was looking at these other ones so I could maybe do them. Brent, I think it's time that you need to maybe look at applying for disability, right? Because it's
Yeah.
going to get a point in time in your life down the road where you're not even going to be able to do any of those ones where a lot of it was um, memorizing certain things. There was ones for reading certain things, ones for just learning disability. Like I have a learning disability, everyone. And I've made that very clear on the podcast. I have lots of different disabilities, right? But that's just me. I just wing it. I just go
You
with the
know,
life.
I think again, it's so amazing. Like again, when I was younger, I would just put like I think like when I used to work for the Ministry of Environment and that uh, and I would do like a 45 hour work week, you
Hmm.
know, work like nine-hour days and come back directly from that and go directly to a I did in-home tutoring. I'd go for another 2 hours to tutor somebody in their house, and then
Hmm.
I would go. Sometimes I would go to another house. So I do 9 hours at my actual job, and then I would do 2 hours of tutoring at one house, and I'd go to another house and do another 2 hours somewhere else. And
Yeah.
I would do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it was no big deal at that time. I was like, yeah, I can do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I look back way back. I mean, this is going back many years because I mean, the buying power, what you could get. I mean, it definitely was there. Paychecks were huge. I mean, wow, I'm
Hmm.
looking at this dollar amount. Go, whoa, what minimum wage was? I mean, I
Yeah.
worked for the Ministry of Advanced Education and Technology, and I thought, wow. And I mean, but the catch was you had to be going back to college or university. That was the catch.
Yeah. You
And
know,
so, and I was going back, and I got in the next year, and I said, well, I changed my mind because I wanted the job, right? I said, well, I
yeah.
changed my mind. I said, no, I'm going in, and I did like a part-time course, but then it finished sooner. But they wanted it to be a full-time, had to be full-time course.
Yeah.
My other one was part-time. So anyway, I got 2 years in a row in there, but at the same time, I mean, it was 8 hour shifts, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
um, it was like starting was 8:30. I was starting at 8 o'clock because I wanted to get a head start getting, because I mean, I had to do a lot of things there and organize things and recategorize things. And the agreement was, hey, you can maybe go like a half hour early. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I had to have like four 15-minute breaks, an hour and a half for lunch,
Yeah.
hour and a half for lunch, and four 15-minute breaks.
I would get flex days. Remember that?
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks you get a
Yeah,
flex day. That
yeah,
was
I did
awesome.
too. I did too.
Yeah.
I got that, and but
Yeah.
I didn't want four 15-minute breaks though,
Yeah.
Neil and everyone. I and Sonia, I didn't want four 15-minute breaks. I thought, why do I have to take them? Yeah, you have
But
to.
like
I
I
went,
think like I started with the Ministry of Environment. It was back in 1995. So this is going back a ways, right? 1995 is when I started, and my starting salary in
mhm.
1995. Guess what my starting salary? Like this is like somebody
Yeah.
fresh off the street. My starting salary, $26 an hour as a starting salary.
Mm.
Starting salary, $26 an hour.
Wow,
I was like, and
that's really,
that was back in 1995,
yeah.
starting salary.
Well, mine was back in the early 1990s, and I was making $18 an hour at the time.
Yeah,
And to me, I mean, minimum wage back then was, I
yeah.
believe it
I
was,
know that even 18 is that's a
yeah,
huge paycheck. Yeah,
minimum wage was like 475, was it 425 or 475, something like
yeah,
that. So you
yeah,
can imagine. So I would go there and get off early. And then when I got off there, I got all the way out. And then I would go to my other job, just do a short shift in the evening, and then get back, and I'd catch the charter bus line because they didn't have transit. Well, it wasn't, they didn't run late anyway. So I got back, and then I'd get early in the morning, go back and do the other job again. And so I was doing that like well, it was 3 days a week. Then I cut it down to two. But then I had my weekends, so I went to a family restaurant that I used to work at, and I would do
yeah.
that on the weekends.
Hmm.
My mom said, you're burning the bridge from two ends, Brent."
But you could do it at that
I,
time, though.
I said, yeah,
Yeah,
I've got that motivation.
yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
hmm,
The can-do attitude,
yeah,
and and then, but I guess my point is, everyone, is that the buying power, what you used to be able to buy back years
hmm,
ago, you can't buy that now. And so with the government not raising PWD rates in BC for 4 years, 4 years, yeah, 4 years, and that was because of the COVID supplement, right? We had the
yeah.
COVID supplement in BC, and I'm going to ask Sonia how that changed when they first came out with that announcement, COVID supplement, back in 2020, when they made that announcement, they introduced it in. And we actually had been interviewed on a whole bunch of news networks at the time. We did they called it $300 to Live campaign.
Yeah.
We were part of that campaign, actually, and the news hour ran with it. The one news hour station ran with it, Neil and everyone. They thought that we were actually the sole organizers for that campaign. And I looked at the headlines, I'm like, no, Sonia, no, we are not the organizers. We were a part of it. And yes, we were part of it. And I was very proud, and I still am, very proud that we pushed the narrative and we forced the government to do the right thing. However, the government decided, well, it wasn't good enough to keep it going, not fully. So Sonia, I guess with that being said, when the $300 COVID supplement got introduced in 2020, originally 5 years ago, what did it, I mean, I'm not going to relive the whole situation because it'd be the whole big giant podcast, everyone. But remember when the media asked you, how would that impact your life? How would that change? How would that change your life in what way? Like, would that be good?
For when it first came out, we were living in a different place in Langley. It was, I guess, okay rent, but
it could have been better rent, but yeah.
We were able to get by and buy more things that we like.
Buy healthy food.
I just remember being able to sock away a bit more money every month.
Yeah.
We were able to buy extra things, like clothes and better food, and able to get away to the island.
We'd be able to go and visit relatives on the island.
We didn't try to do that too much during COVID, though.
No, but we were able to do a short little kind of tours around the Metro Vancouver and parts of the Eastern Fraser Valley.
I also saved a bit of that money because then we ended up moving to a newer building that just got built.
Yeah.
So we were able to do that.
And then buy some new appliances and stuff for our new place.
Yep, and then
with that COVID supplement, we were able to sock some of that money away and buy new things that we needed. There's Tupperware containers people need to buy, household things, and some of it was getting old. We just got rid of it and recycled it and got some new stuff. And that little big bump, like that little bump, made a huge difference.
Yeah.
And even when we got to our new place, we were still doing okay because it was
at the time. Well, we had our one unit. Then unfortunately we lost our one
unit for
and
then by then they took the COVID supplement away.
We were told,
and then the news media came again and talked to us again about it.
The same news station, they did a follow up.
Global News did.
Global News said, well,
and then they goes, what would you do if that money went away? And I said, well, I think we would have to move.
We would have to move if they took it away.
Now we're here in Victoria because of that.
And so the news media then asked, well, their understanding is that, well, they're not going to take the whole $300 away. They're going to leave you with $150 or $100 or $175. They're not quite sure yet. And I said, and of course, we already knew the answer to that, but I couldn't tell the media that.
Yeah.
We already had first dibs by the premier at the time. And see what I mean when I said
a little birdie told me.
On the podcast when I said before that John Horgan had told us top secret, you can't tell nobody. And you may get the media asking questions, and you will, I'm sure. And he already kind of knew, I guess, that the media would be asking. You can't say nothing. You can't tell nobody this, Sonia, Brent. I need your word right now. Fine. Fine what? Fine, you have my word, or I have your word. Okay, good. I go, but we need to make sure this is kind of fully implemented back in. Oh, you need to squirrel the money away. Squirrel the money away. He said, squirrel. And Sonia goes, well, it's kind of hard to squirrel it away when you're paying your rent is a little bit more than what you were paying. Right, but you got the 300. I go, right, but you're going to be taking some of that away. Well, he says, I'm the only person at the table. I only have one voice, and not everybody echoes my sentiments of wanting to have this fully reinstated. I keep advocating to have it reinstated back to its original state. I want to see you guys have $300 going forward. I also want to see your guys' rates increased, right? Up to the cost of living. And that came from our premier, everybody. He wanted to see our rates up to the cost of living. He also wanted to see our rates tied to inflation also on top of that.
Yeah.
And here we are from the time that John Horgan had left, before he had left as premier, until now in 2025.
Well, now what that article said in the, that article,
Which one?
and then that you sent me the other day,
The article.
said that John Horgan wanted to raise his.
Oh, yes. There was an article, yes.
Well, I sent you one. I think it was
Yeah.
from Kirk LaPointe.
Yes, that's the one.
I sent you that one.
Yeah, and it mentioned about people with disabilities in there too.
Yeah.
And
And one of the comments at the end I thought was really interesting was that Kirk LaPointe said he found it really interesting that John Horgan didn't basically say one word about David Eby in the entire book, in the
Yeah.
entire memoir, or what do I want to say, biography. He basically said like not one word about Eby. He says so he thought that was kind of interesting omission there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I'm looking forward to that book. I believe it's coming out in October.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess getting to what we're mentioning here about the buying power. I mean, that's so $300. So John was right. I mean, and he was frustrated. I could read him like a book when his body language and what he was saying to us. And John loved to play with words, and they all do. But John was being very genuine and very honest with us about rates. Like he says, I want to see what's best for you both. I want to see you happy. Are you happy? Yeah, we have a nice place. Well, then nothing can go wrong then, right? Be careful with corporate landlords because some of them can be pretty shady. Some of them, a little rough around the edges. You know what I mean, Brent? They're a little rough around I said, yeah, I know. I said, but this is a good place. Well, hindsight, I mean,
It's almost like he knew who our manager was.
yeah, it's almost like he knew who they were. And
Maybe he
was,
did some
right?
digging for you.
And I think
behind the
that
scenes.
it's like saying, well, it's not always exactly what you think it is. I mean, the place was brand new. We saw it getting built, and it would be nice to live there. I mean, we probably would have moved by now out of there because our agreement was that we had to move to another unit. The management company, the manager was just she basically tossed out two whole floors of the building. She did some heavy duty drugs in there, flushed out two whole floors out. I mean, all because she wanted her commission, right? And her boss basically said, well, you gave her a bad deal. Well, I mean, Sonia's parents came over for a visit. I mean, right away, I mean, like brand new, we just got in there and like, yeah, and I said, whoa, guess what? Open the door. Poof. Wow, management denies it, right? Well, we didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, what the heck? Every time I'd ask the manager, I'd phone up, hey, the stench, it's coming up.
Well, you don't think about asking the manager, oh, by the way, do you do drugs in your house?
Yeah. By the way, are you the one that's doing the drugs? I mean, because everyone,
that's not the first question you tend to ask your manager.
No, exactly. And I mean, there was other tenants around, and Sonia, I started asking other tenants, like, do you smell that? Yeah. Where's it coming from? And everyone started asking, and they all started asking the manager. Manager's like, I don't know. And then, of course, the manager started freaking out, like, stop texting me, Brent. Don't text me. I'm off business hours now. I go, the stench is coming in, and you told me to text you when there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, long story short is we came down to a point where the owner didn't want to deal with it anymore. Like, get these two into another unit or something. So basically broke our lease, or you can leave the building. Like, you don't have to pay a liquid damages clause to break your lease. And liquid damages clause, everybody, is basically what it means is that your damage deposit that you put down. It's just a fancy wording terminology. I didn't even know what liquid damages clause was at first. I thought, well, I didn't spell any liquid. No. So anyway, they waived it off only if we were to take another unit in the building, but there was a clause in place stating that you take another unit, but when that rent goes up, you're going to be paying a much higher price. So it's an internal agreement that we had with the management company, as nothing was technically written that way under the Tenancy Act, and I knew there was some shady stuff going on. So Sonia and I said, well, okay, fine, new management took over, great. She didn't want us to go. She didn't want us to go. I know that, and she felt so sad that we felt that we needed to move, but we could not pay the higher rent, like because the COVID supplement now is now reduced down to 175, right? So 175 instead of 300, so that's 125 out of your budget. Government was going to get rid of that completely. John advocated and pushed them, said, do not get rid of it. They were going to get rid of it, scrap it all.
Yeah.
That would have put us in a real bad situation. So we said, well, we need to go now and recoup this money. So we moved to Victoria, and we've been here since. So the buying power, as you see, if it was there, I mean, it changes people's lives in so many positive ways. And yeah, I mean, I could write a whole book on this whole situation, right?
How much do pink unicorns cost, Brent? How much do pink unicorns cost?
Well, it depends on how many that you want. I mean, they're magic. Hey, they just pop up everywhere. So we can make them pop up everywhere, and the government thinks that they can get a whole farm of them going. Oh, I would think probably a half a dozen, maybe. Oh, I don't know, $1. Maybe you can get 10 of them, 10 for $1.
Anyway, we're right at the
Yeah.
almost at an hour and a half,
Yeah.
Brent, so we should probably punch out.
Yeah. Well, again, Sonia, I mean, the impact that that had on you, the dollar value. I mean, it really it affects the person's well-being in so many ways. Home, where is home, Sonia? I guess that's the question to basically end the podcast for today. Yeah, where's home?
Back in Langley.
Back in Langley. You hear that, government? Home is back in Langley.
And you did a great video, by the way, all about you recently went out to Langley and kind of did the whole memory lane reminiscing, and that was a really good video.
A lot of
I
change
enjoyed cutting that one together.
there.
Yeah, a lot of
Oh, my
changes have
goodness.
happened since we were there.
Oh,
Coffee shop disappeared, is now a pizza shop. And a very expensive pizza shop too. So I won't. I mean, no offense, Langley, but I won't be going in there when next time I go in.
now they got
Langley, but
umbrellas hanging it.
they got colorful umbrellas hanging there, all different kind of colors. They've done something to the one-way street now. They're
The
ripping it all
laundromat
up.
is gone.
Laundromat completely boarded up. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, reminiscing about back then of taking our laundry there. And that nice place. I mean, big tumbler washers in there and everything, and dryers, and
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
it was nice. It was it really dried your clothes, washed them well, and dried them really well. Yeah, they're really good value for your dollar. Again, stretching, rationing the dollar, stretching it, so you really got a good value there. It was a home business. Just wasn't a big corporation. Just a good ma and pa type of business. I don't know what happened. And of course, we went back to the stadium. I call it big stadium there, where John Horgan, it was a stage where he gave the announcement about SkyTrain, and that the future SkyTrain will be coming to Langley. And when he saw us, he says, "Oh my gosh, my friends are here. Why are you here? Let me guess. You're here because I'm giving an announcement about SkyTrain." Well, yeah, partly, but Sonia heard that you were going to be on stage, so you're going to hear, so we came to see you. Well, isn't that nice? They come to see me to visit, not just because I'm giving a SkyTrain announcement, but because they wanted to be here. I go, yeah. And he goes, and you know why? And of course they had the MLA that was rerunning, to get into Langley to get elected. Yeah, Andrew. And he says, Andrew, you know why that they're here? Yeah, because it's the place to be. It was the place to be. Of course, they had it kind of lined up that way, and we all started laughing, and we all had masks on at the time, and we all had good chuckle about that.
Yeah.
But kind of reminiscing, looking back at it, and all the fun times. It's just that community feel, right? I mean, I like Victoria. Don't get me wrong, everybody. Victoria is great. Sonia talks about that too. I mean, it's beautiful. This morning, I mean, we had the sunrise came up here. I took a picture of it, and wow, the sun coming up. And it's great, but Victoria is so expensive. Like if we were to either, like Sonia mentioned earlier in the podcast, if we were to lose this place or we need to move out of this place, We couldn't find another place in Victoria for that, for what we're paying now. Oh, no.
And Langley. we
In
could
Langley,
go.
we could. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
prices
I
have
found a
come
place.
down. They've come down, but here is some fun facts, and this is probably going to outrage a lot of you listening to this. Yeah, this really makes my blood boil, actually. I don't know who was the stupid clown in the ministry who decided, which staffer, who decided to put in, well, we're going to pay for a moving supplement. Okay, it never used to be this way. Sonia, moving supplement, was it for health before?
It's for, yeah.
Okay.
Is it still for health?
Nope, they took out the word health out of
took
it,
it
Sonia.
away.
They
Okay.
took health out of it. So if it was health related, if you needed to move just for health related issues, they have different criteria now. You need to, it has to be really specific.
It has to be
Substantially reduced.
substantially reduced.
But it has to be substantially reduced. Your rent, everyone, has to be substantially be reduced from what you're paying now of rent.
Yeah.
Okay, so our rent now is below what they're actually renting in this building right now where we live. The rent is actually much higher.
Which alternative universe do you have to go to?
Yeah.
Which alternative universe do you have to go to get to rent which is substantially reduced?
See, when we were in Langley, our rent was substantially reduced to where we moved to in Victoria. You get what you pay for. Okay. So we thought, wow, they're going to move us. Oh, and I looked at the terminology. Oh, okay, that's why they moved us. It was substantially reduced. So now our rent's low. Is our rent going to be even lower, substantially reduced down? Like, oh my gosh, I would probably not want to know the condition of a place. There might be a place that is available.
Well, the only time they would move us now is if we got into BC housing.
Maybe it comes with free pets and a dead body, Brent.
It probably does. Yeah. I mean, they would move us to BC housing. However, there is like a 20-year waiting list. I know Peter, he had talked about how long he had waited to get on to into BC housing.
What was it, 12 years? He said
12 years he waited.
Yeah.
That was just for him.
Yeah.
Now that number is even now greater. It's blossomed way up there, and it's all based on families with children first.
Yeah.
So they prioritize that. If you have a health condition, you used to be able to get in under that. Sonia had got into that for health reasons. Nope, that's not part of the criteria now. No.
Yeah.
You have to be homeless first.
You have to be homeless first, everyone. Apparently, according to BC Housing, you have to be homeless first. Then it's first come, first serve based on the situation, circumstances.
Yeah.
Unless you're fleeing violence or your place has been sold or condemned, they will escalate you into a different criteria.
Which is crazy
But then you got to meet their criteria. They're going to pick the two places. You have to take where they say it's available. Well, I don't want to move to way up. Say I'll just randomly throw a name in. Prince George. We've got a place in Prince George. You going to move there? Oh, that's too far away. Okay. Well, so you're saying no. Okay. One more chance.
Yeah.
Kelowna. Oh God. Party Central. It's not accessible in transit. Businesses are too far away. So you're saying no. Okay. We'll bump you back down the list. But hey, you can check in with us later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Congratulations on waiting another. You have to wait another 20 years.
But people want cheap housing, and that's why they look and say, well, they think BC housing cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, how about just increase the rates? And that kind of is a arm off of our next podcast.
Yeah, it will spill right over into our next podcast.
That's why I did this
Monday.
deliberately so that I could kind of look at that.
So tune in on Monday.
Well, again, I wanna thank Sonia for all your input. What we talked about. I mean, we'll have to revisit this. Again, this topic,
and I apologize for my rant and rave at the beginning of the show, but I kind of just felt I was like, that kind of Hulk moment where it's like, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I just had to get it off my chest.
I loved that show. That was one of my favorite. The
don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
It's like, don't make me angry. You don't want to see me when I'm getting angry.
Yeah.
Turn green.
Yeah, he turned green. All of a sudden, he turned green. Mom,
the show from the 70s is still like the best show ever.
She's like, what? He's turning green. Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Lou Ferrigno is the Hulk.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank Sonia for coming on. We're going to revisit this topic, the welfare food diet, and we'll see how this has progressed. Um, I heard also. I want everyone who watches this right now. I want you all to put pressure, and this will kind of go on to our next podcast because our next guest, MJ, she's going to be talking about pressure on the government. But in between time, the time you listen to the our live broadcast on Monday with MJ, I want you to put pressure on the BC government. Let them know how you feel about the PWD rates that they are being suppressed down to uh, about 1980s rates, 1990, early 1990s rates. That's what the buying power is right now because the rates haven't been increased, like say for supports 4 years, shelter 2 years. Um, yeah, it's just not acceptable. Especially when you hear it from your corporate manager saying, "Hey, I mean, we give you a rent increase. Why didn't the government give you a rent increase?
Yeah.
Why didn't they increase your rates? Is this wrong? There's
And
something
like we said, it's the show's coming up on Monday, but
Monday.
we really hope that people really share it out and it becomes
We need
almost
that.
viral. Like
We need that mission
we
shared and
really
shared,
want this to become
shared.
viral and share it out like widely so that a lot of people get eyeballs on it.
Because there's something in the standing committee that when Ravi Parmar, Sonia and I had run into Ravi at the Labor Day picnic, and I told him that in the standing committee, the ones that make the decisions where they do consultations and they tell the finance minister what to put in the budget. If they high recommendations, what needs to be in the budget, there was no recommendations. And I'll emphasize the word no in capital letters, everybody.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no recommendations about increasing PWD rates in the 2026 BC budget for persons
Yeah.
with disabilities.
Yeah.
No recommendations. So I said to Ravi, there was no recommendations. He goes, "Oh my gosh, that's terrible." Right, right. We haven't had a rate increase in 4 years, Ravi. Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. I said, and nothing for shelter in 2 years, but we keep getting increases, the cost of living going up. But he said, well, there might be conservatives. There's probably conservatives, BC conservatives on that committee. That's probably the reason why they didn't raise the rates or wanting to raise the rates next year. Right now, we're in 2025. We didn't get a rate increase, so now they're basically saying, yeah, just look forward, everybody. Next year, don't expect a rate increase.
Yeah.
Well, so people's lives we have to plan things accordingly. Like people need to figure, okay, well, how am I going to budget for such and such? I need to know if I'm going to get a rate increase. Am I going to be able to move? I need to maybe move. What decision making that I need to make for myself based on what the rent is going to be. So, okay, so the government's saying no, there's not going to be an increase next year, or there is. I need to, autonomy wise, I need to make a decision for what I need.
Yeah.
And like Sonia had mentioned that too on the podcast here, is that we want to move to Langley or we want to move out in the area anyway.
Yeah.
If the rent is cheaper, if we're not going to get a rent increase, if we know the government's not going to give an increase in like next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years or 6 years, we need to know these things so we can plan our lives accordingly.
The pink
We know-
unicorns say no increase, Brent. That's
Well,
what
the
the pink unicorns are saying, no
Pink
increase.
unicorn looking at me saying, Brent, there's not going to be an increase next year or the year after that.
Yeah.
So we need to determine what we need to do, what's best for us, not with what
We
the
need to
government
kill
does.
the pink unicorns. I always say now, Brent.
Yeah. But you know,
We have
the
to kill the
MLAs
pink
always say to
unicorns.
us, they say, but Brent and Sonia, you're close to the legislature. You can
Yeah.
come right in here. Well, that's fine and dandy
Yeah.
to do what? To hold you accountable. But if you're
Yeah.
not going to listen to us, then what does that mean? I could just come over and visit,
Yeah.
right? Again, I want everybody to phone the MSDPR ministry and let them know they have to increase the rates. I want you to flood their phone lines and let them know that you have to increase the rates. It's not okay. Let them know how you feel. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, just you can actually just Google their number, MSDPR at the BC legislature, or you can phone their toll free number. Look it
And
up.
you get Sheila Malcolmson's direct line.
Yeah, that her direct line. Yeah, that's right. And I think maybe it is time to put some put some fire under.
Well, she said she wants to come on, so
She wants to come
let's
on.
invite her on. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sheila, here's an invitation. Come on to the
Yeah, there we
podcast.
go.
We'd love to have just a chit chat about regarding PWD rates.
Let's talk about pink unicorn, Sheila.
Pink unicorns, they're blossoming. This time of the year, they're really starting to blossom. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you
Cheers.
enjoyed today's show as an extended long version, but we got a lot covered. And thanks again for Sonia for coming on to the podcast. And we're going to revisit this.
She's so
thing.
patient with me. Thank you.
I
Sonia.
know. And she's going to make a quick appearance before we end the show. She's around here somewhere. Oh, Sonia, where are you? Where are you, Sonia? Oh, there she is. Oh,
Right here.
oh, hello. She just popped in and over. That was like the pink unicorn just pops right out and then they disappear.
I couldn't sit anymore.
She couldn't say anymore. I don't blame her. It's a long podcast. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for
we talk too much, Brent.
For sticking around and listening to us. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you Monday.
Okay, cheers.
Bye. Have a good weekend.